说在这个CJ7 的电影里面，我的其中一个灵感的来源就是这个Steven Spielberg 的 E.T. 就是其中一个，就是很久之前自己看的，很喜欢这样子。
So one of the sources for inspiration for CJ7 was Steven Spielberg's E.T., which I'd seen many years ago and really liked it.
Okay, next question. Another question? Yeah, right there, in the brown.
I have a question, and that is, this movie CJ7, what's different from the other movies that you made before, and what are some difficulties in making the movie?
这个长江7号跟你过去拍的电影有什么不一样？还有什么挑战？
不一样都很明显了，大家都看到它是很童真，很小朋友，这个跟我过去的是有很大的分别的。然后那可能就是我也是一个很童真的人，所以就心里面一直都很想拍一个这样子的电影，还有想试试看很家庭的电影，观众会不会接受？那我们刚刚在亚洲也放映了这个电影，然后我很高兴，因为大家都很接受，我们的成绩也做得非常好。
So you just seen it, and I think you see what's different between this and my earlier films. I think a lot of differences are quite obvious, but I think there was a kind of childlike quality to this film, and maybe that also speaks to my own personality and part of who I am. Also, there's this kind of family story that I really wanted to pursue, and that's something that I think appeals to much broader audiences, and as we've seen from the recent reaction in Asia, where it's recently premiered, it's done quite well across different audience spectrums, and so those are a few of the differences.
Okay, good. Another question, please? Yeah, right here.
I know that you're a fan of martial arts. How come you didn't do any martial arts personally in this movie?
我知道你也很喜欢这个功夫武侠，你为什么在这个片子里面没有表现出来？
我也有想过要不要打一下功夫，但是好像不是很对头跟这个角色。这个角色已经很苦了，就是还想来想去都找不到一个理由给他所以就对不起了。
I did consider adding a little kung fu to this film, but the more I thought about it, I just couldn't figure out how it would work with the kind of inner workings of this film, especially this character, right? He's a guy tough on his luck who's had a pretty hard time, so as much as I stretched my imagination, I really couldn't figure out how to get some kung fu in here, so my apologies.
Okay, another question. Yes, right here.
我想问一下小徐娇，他11岁就和周星驰合作，那将来会在演艺界发展吗？还有我想问你是来自中国哪里？
My question is for Xu Jiao, and I want to know that you began working with Stephen Chow when you were only 10 years old, and what was that like, and how do you plan to continue your future and develop in the movie world, and where are you from?
我这次能够和周老爸合作，我就觉得我非常的幸运。然后，以后我在演艺圈发展就顺其自然吧。如果有好的机会和好的剧本，我可能会考虑一下。
So, I feel very, very lucky to have had this opportunity to work with Papa Chow, and he's really been wonderful to me. And for my future, well, we'll see what happens naturally and see what the future holds. Of course, if there's very strong screenplays that are submitted to me, I'll consider them.
我的家乡就是在宁波，但是我现在住在杭州。
My hometown's in Ningbo, but right now I'm living in Hangzhou.
Very savvy strategy. Okay, right there in the middle. Yes.
I have a question for Chow. 我想问你一下，你刚刚星爷找你的时候，他要你剪短你的头发，你有很难过吗？
I have a question for Xu Jiao. I'm wondering how difficult it was for you to cut your hair.
一开始我是挺伤心的，因为我很喜欢长头发，但是我觉得我现在这个样子也挺帅。
At first I was a bit sad because I really did like my long hair, but I don't feel so batty now because, short hair, I think it's pretty good looking.
Yes, indeed. Okay, how about right here in the aisle?
星爷您好，我想问一下，请问您是怎样找到一个这么适合演这个角色的，像她一样很 talented 的 girl？
I had a question for the director. I was wondering just how he found such a talented actress so appropriate for this role.
我们是在全中国，包括在香港，找，我们见过大概差不多有1万个小朋友里面找出来的，当然是好了。
So we had this national search throughout China as well as Hong Kong, and there were more than 100,000 who, 100,000? 10,000. There were more than 10,000 that applied, so of course she's good.
Great. Another question? Yes, right here.
I was wondering why you chose a girl for the role as opposed to a boy.
为什么选女孩子来演？
因为她是我们见过，我认为她是最适合，包括她的外形、她的样子，还有她的理解的能力，还有她的对于演戏方面的天分，但是当然可是就是她是一个女的，跟这剧本就是不同，因为剧本是一个男的，但是我觉得小朋友啊，他去反串，就是男扮女，女扮男都比较容易，就是因为小朋友看起来都是。
So she was really just the most appropriate for the role, and in terms of the way she looked physically, the way her kind of powers of understanding and mental facilities to her acting potential, she was just hands down the most impressive of all the kids that we saw. Of course, the screenplay called for a boy for this role, and she was a girl, but I realized that for children, it's not too difficult for them to kind of cross-dress. They all look kind of the same. A girl can dress up as a boy, or a boy can dress up as a girl. So that's what we did.
Yes, how about in the back there, standing up? Yes.
I just wanted to ask Steven if he's ever going to be in another God of Gamblers movie.
赌神这个非常好的主意。
God of Gamblers. That's a really good idea.
Got a script for us? Okay, another question, please. Yes, I see a hand there. Yes, you, sir.
Which one?
This fellow right here. He's sort of first. Yes. This side.
我一直都是你的影迷。那我想请问一下，当你在拍摄的时候，有许多画面你是，把2种不同的情绪放在同一个scene里面，那你有